Welcome to Listertainment, the channel that doesn't really provide entertainment at all. Here we have another 5 fighters who got banned for life from competing in their beloved combat sport. These fighters train for so many hours and put everything they have into it, but sometimes the adrenaline or just the need to win can get a hold of them and they end up doing something really stupid that gets them that ban. The fighters on this list are worse than what we saw in part 1, so be ready to feel some hatred for many of these fighters. The worst, of course, is when you purposefully do something to your equipment in order to hurt your opponent. That is just unforgivable, considering that both of you are putting your life and livelihoods on the line every time you fight. If you happen to enjoy this video, please give a like so we can satisfy the like-loving slut that is the algorithm, and subscribe down below. Also, please make sure to turn on those notifications. Let's get started! Another fighter that got banned from the UFC for extracurricular activities after the bell was Paul Daley. Because after his fight against Josh Koscheck in 2010, he decided to try and hit him from behind.
Daley punches wow. Are you kidding me?
Koscheck had dominated the fight with his wrestling and was trash talking a ton, and this got Daley all riled up, and he said that he would punch him at some point that night. It turned out to be true because Koscheck was ready for it, and he managed to put his right hand up in time to block the punch, but the damage was done. Dana White took the decision to ban Paul Daley for life from the UFC.
Have you follow up on that incident?
He's done. I don't give a shit if he's the best 170 pounder in the world. He'll never come back here again.
We're talking Paul Daley.
Yeah.
You're cutting him from the UFC.
Yeah. He'll never come back.
Daley was able to keep fighting with other promotions, including Strikeforce, where he challenged for the title, but lost against Nick Diaz. He has been with Bellator since 2015 with a record of 8-5. Aziz Karaglu had been fighting for the Polish KSW promotion for 8 years with a mixed record, but in 2016 that all came to an end when he was scheduled and lost a fight against Mamed Khalidov.
Still, KSW middleweight champion, Mamed.
The ban came after he used music that is used by Islamist extremists as their anthem. Nobody at the event realized any of this, and the music was chosen by Aziz. Not until a couple of days later did Reddit users raise their eyebrows, leading the promotion to immediately terminate Aziz from his contract. He was also fined £150,000. Aziz was successfully banished from the sport for 3 years before another dumbass promotion took a chance and allowed him to fight in 2019 in the King of Kings World Series, where he actually won the fight via unanimous decision. This guy should absolutely never be allowed to fight again and should maybe go entertain his fellow extremist members. During the biggest tournament for a Taekwondo practitioner, Angel Valodia Matos attacked the referee at the 2008 Beijing Olympics after he took too much time after an injury and was disqualified. You get 1 minute to try and recover from an injury, and Matos did not get up fast enough during this fight against Kazakhstan's Arman Shaliminov, where Matos was actually winning the match. Matos' coach immediately rushed the mat after the disqualification, and Matos just lost his mind when he was near the referee and just landed a hard kick to his head. He also punched and kicked another official before he was removed from the arena. The order to ban him came just minutes after all this happened in the loudspeaker in that same arena. Luis Lazarte was fighting for the interim IBF World Light Flight title in Argentina in 2012 against John Real Casimero, and he was making the fight really dirty. Multiple times he headbutted, landed low blows, bit him at least twice, and hit Casimero behind his head, and this led the referee to dock him a point in the 6th round. At which point he took out his mouthpiece and said to the referee, "You wanna make it out of here alive?"
De esta manera fue campeón del mundo.
Le descuentan un punto por pegar atrás de la cabeza. Y en algún momento tenía que pasar.
This threat is what led the IBF to ban Lazarte from ever fighting in any fights held under the IBF. What kind of cheater threatens the life of the person who is supposed to stop you from cheating? But then again, if you're a cheater, you already have some questionable ethics, and this should be expected. Luckily, Casimero dropped Lazarte twice in the 9th round, and once in the 10th round, before he pummeled him until the ref stopped the fight in the 10th.
Cerrado Lazarte.
Otra derecha más de Casimero. Va a buscar guapo Lazarte, pero se va a ir al piso de nuevo. Están los pinos para definir la pelea. Vaya con la izquierda, lo tiene con la derecha. Otra derecha más a la cabeza. Está nocao Lazarte. Atención el árbitro. Atención, ha ganado el filipino.
Then the fans just went crazy and started a riot, throwing chairs into the ring and attacking Casimero's team. Lazarte unfortunately got to fight 3 more times, winning twice. Luis Resto is known as the worst cheater in boxing history, as he and his team knowingly removed 1 ounce of padding from his gloves and filled it with chalk before his fight against Billy Collins Jr. in 1983. Resto was able to win the fight, which was a complete shock, as Collins was a highly touted undefeated prospect, while Resto was just a stepping stone in his career.
My God.
What courage, Gordy's kids, we don't want to stop. With 17 seconds left.
After the fight, Collins' father went to congratulate Resto, but upon shaking his hand, he noticed that his gloves were really thin and immediately called for an investigation and for the gloves to be taken into custody, at which point everything came to light. Resto and his trainer, Panama Lewis, were charged and convicted of assault and criminal possession of a weapon, with Resto serving 2 years in prison.
In the corner with him, Billy Collins. The father is in the corner. That must be really different.
At first, Resto denied knowing any of this, and he continued saying this for the next 25 years. Collins suffered a torn iris and permanent blurred vision, which forced him to end his career. This led Collins into a downward spiral, ending in him passing away during a car accident while intoxicated a couple of months later. Resto finally came clean after visiting Collins' widow, telling her everything Lewis did to make him win, including giving him substances to enhance his performance, soaking his hand wraps in plaster, and removing glove padding. He apologized profusely for what he did to her husband. He tried to get his license back for 15 years until he was finally allowed to be cornerman by New York State. I just gotta say that Luis Resto's prison sentence was way too short. He should have gotten at least 5 years, especially since you can see that he knew his gloves had something to them when Billy's father was checking them out. Thanks for watching this video. See you next time.